Hello and welcome to Talkin' Baseball. It's players only. People forget. None of that Glenn Perkins stuff. We are predicting what's going to happen in the second half. Let's check it out. Trevor Plouffe, everyone.
Pick change.
Harrison Bader. Foul ball. Foul ball. Survives. Hello and welcome to Talkin' Baseball. It is a midweek ep, and we are looking at some potential storylines of this second half. Some predictions are laying some groundwork for what's going on. I am Jake Storielli. That is Trevor Plouffe. Bobby Golfs. Bob Sirocco here producing. And he just sneezed. God bless you. Hope everyone is having a good July as we limp to the finish line here, depending who your team is, heading into the All-Star break. Coach Trevor Plouffe, Minnesota Twins first-round pick, third baseman, stops in Tampa, Oakland, Philadelphia, and in the booth last night with the fellas. How you doing, Trev?
It's only our 1,002nd episode. I think people know. I'm doing well. I'm doing there. Yeah, there we all were. Pablo Lopez joined us.
Yeah.
Very insightful. That's where I learned the kick change that I threw you at the beginning of the episode.
Oh, okay.
You just spike the index finger or the middle finger, excuse me. Circle change it on the seams, spike the middle finger, throw it like that. Boom.
Boom.
Yeah,
New pitch.
get the spin out of there or something like that. I don't know. I'm doing well today. I got some funny stuff going on. The plan is for me to go off the Trajekt System, which is, the screen with the pitcher and they can simulate spin and all that stuff. I'm coming up with a scouting report on Caleb Thielbar, former Minnesota Twin, and I'm facing him with the Trajekt System, which is like not fair to me whatsoever. I'll make a fool of myself, but it'll be fun.
Soft toss and lefty. Are they going to use it on the broadcast?
I don't know. He's not a soft tossing lefty. Those 96 right now.
Okay.
So no. Yeah.
I'll play curveball. Curveball.
Maybe not 96. I might have played that up in my head, but yeah.
You got it, man. The Trajekt thing's pretty cool. I guess if you don't know, Trajekt is it's the future batting cage. How about this? For people like me, I remember when they came out with the batting cage that was just the same pitch thrower. They just put up generic player and they tried to sync it with the arm throwing motion, and it didn't sync. It was, if anything, that took away from your hitting prowess. The Trajekt is you can literally put in a pitcher like Caleb Thielbar or whoever it is, and you can see their actual stuff, the spin rate, what they're throwing with. We got to at winter meetings a couple years ago. They had a setup, and they're like, "Yeah, you and Jimmy can step in, but you can't take any swings." We're like, "Okay." Oh no. But yeah, they uploaded a prominent New York starting pitcher who's right-handed and out for the season this year. I think they said we couldn't share this information. And it was pretty cool to step in and see his stuff.
I don't know why clubs there was that thing oh hush hush what teams have this. There's 4 teams that don't have it. It's not that big of a deal. Teams don't use it that often, so I don't even know why it's so hush hush. I don't understand that. I did. They asked me, said, come up with a scouting report on Caleb. So I went through and I was like, okay, this is what I'm seeing, watching video. This is what I would do. Then I was like, you know what? Let me get into the future. And I asked ChatGPT. I said,
wow,
using specific websites, which I used. I said, come up with a detailed scouting report on Caleb. Also, tell me how you would approach him as a hitter.
Wow.
And I had no idea what was about to happen.
Yeah.
It's what's a computer supposed to say about how he's going to feel in the box?
Try to get ahead in the count. Really?
It was incredible. I'm going to send it to you guys. I was going to put it in our group chat. Then I was like, it's too long. Incredibly detailed work there. And I'm wondering now, are hitting coaches just going boop?
Are they
was a great scouting report.
Okay. So if you're a hitting coach not using AI, you're just wasting your time.
I think I don't even know. I don't want to get into it. I'm just saying I did it and it works, so try it out.
So there's going to be a little bit of that this episode. If you're new, episode 1002, tuning in. The Trajekt machine, pretty damn cool. And yeah, I think the last time I talked, and I think you're still right on it, is that you can't use it during the game because they wanted, if you're going to do that, you need to have it set up for both teams because that would be fair. And some places still don't have it yet. Like I'm assuming Oakland might not, or Sacramento might not have a Trajekt set up. But yeah, it's nuts, man. I mean, if you're a pinch hitter off the bench, if you're a righty pinch hitter for a baseball team and a team has a really good lefty and you know that's your lane, you're taking batting practice off that guy for hours. I mean, I'm glad that the hitters have something to fight back with, and at the end of the day, they still have to pitch. You could still accidentally backdoor a breaking ball, and you can't prepare for that.
It's not the same as being in the box. You can see pitch shapes. What the Twins do is use a little softer baseballs instead of actual MLB baseballs because you can just blow your hands up.
Right.
Any pitching machine, if you've ever hit off one that's throwing higher than 70 miles an hour, it's a nightmare. So they're trying to figure all that stuff out. But, I think most teams are using the little softer balls. So you can go in there and actually take some hacks.
I don't miss those little yellow rubber balls going back to those OG pitching machines. Those were brutal.
Those were better than real balls. Seriously, if you set up
that's true.
Jugs machine with real baseballs and you're having it throw 90 plus miles an hour, it's a nightmare.
Well, the difference in my experience, I was still using aluminum, so those ones off the hand still got off enough where the woodies. Ugh. Ugh. All right, let's talk some second half baseball, and it's all brought to you by SeatGeek. Go see a game this second half. I'll flex on the people. I'm going to the game with internet sensation Joe's McFly tonight, who went to the game last night because he got tickets from Mike Cameron. You want to talk about the world? The simulation's broken. If you don't have an MLB Connect with one of the best center fielders of all time, why don't you go to SeatGeek? Because right now you can head over there. It's the #1 rated ticketing app in the world. Rated on a scale of 1 to 10, so you're getting a deal. Just look for the green dots. Green means good. Red means bad. Go see a game and save yourself some money. Talkin 2025, 10% off your next set of tickets at SeatGeek. That's 10% off any tickets with promo code Talkin 2025. Go check it out. Go see a game. Or hey, maybe if your team's selling at the deadline, which we're going to be talking about a little bit of that, go see a concert and let the pain out through there. Thanks, SeatGeek. Trevor, speaking of Mike Cameron, who is I think he's an assistant coach on the Mariners. I'm not sure of the exact job title, but he's in the dugout. He's wearing the gear. By the way, one of the most roped up people I've ever met, not baseball players, ever met. We saw him 2 years ago at the Dallas All-Star game, and he was wearing...
That was last year. That's Players Alliance party.
That was last year. Okay. Yeah. Wow. He was wearing... Because what was the theme? The theme was Texas or cowboy?
It was Western, yeah. It was Western.
He had a leather vest on, and... Whoa. He
was posted up at the bar and just looking sultry. And we started talking ball. It was great, man.
He's hey, we've got a lot of people that love ball in this show. When we walked up, he introduced himself to us and it was okay, Mike Cameron, you're good. And he turned to his significant other and he's yeah, these are the people I'm just yucking with online every night.
He does. He gets online a lot.
He's online. He's active. He's about ball. And so are we. And Trev, we had a treat last night. Not necessarily the Yankees getting off their losing ways, but the big fella homers, Aaron Judge, and historic 1.2 OPS, all of that, on pace for 60. There's another guy, the big dumper who homered later that game, who is 2 homers ahead of him, is on pace to break the American League home run record. Love that we still clarify that. And Trev, I just kind of want to get your thoughts on it because We're in deep, man. It's July 9th. Every homer, he's passing historic All-Star break records. I think he passed Griffey for fifth most home runs going into an All-Star break. And, man, it's just one of those weird things where the game's looking easy for him last night. Yankee fans and Mariners fans were having a whose relief pitcher was worse that gave up the homer to both guys, which, okay, we don't need to play that game. I guess where are you at with Cal Raleigh in general, and when do we start doing, like, home run race stuff?
I mean, we're kind of already doing it because of the names he's mentioned with. I mean, if you get into the category with Ken Griffey Jr., a lot of people like to talk about that. That makes for a fun tweet. It makes for a fun graphic. So I think we're already kind of getting there. What I like about Cal Raleigh, I like looking at rate stats, especially at this point of the year where you have some at-bats in there. And a lot of the stuff that he's doing, you kind of expect. Obviously, the home run percentage is up. But as an all-around hitter, which I think you have to be to put up home runs like this. Like I think a lot of people might think, oh, hey, you just go up and swing for the fences and you might hit 60 this year, Cal. It's like, that's not what he's doing. He's going having great at bats. He's having to worry about people pitching around him. So, he has to try to hone in the strike zone a little bit. If you watch how teams approach Cal Raleigh, they are just trying to bury him inside all the time. And so he has to be really conscious of not pulling that shoulder out, flying the hip open, trying to beat that pitch inside. He's got to be aware of what they're trying to do, which he is because he's a catcher, and wait for mistakes. And sure that he's doing that. Strikeout percentage is down, 24.7% this year from 28 last year. The walk percentage is up, which is going to happen probably more and more as the season goes on. So it's really important for whoever's hitting behind him to keep going. And then the fact that he's a switch hitter, I think can't really be understated here. The platoon will always be in his advantage. Obviously, there's one side what side does he hit for more power? I'm assuming the left side. Man, sometimes it gets a little wonky.
I keep seeing the stat this year that he's got like the most homers as a lefty, most homers as a righty catcher. He's got 14 homers versus lefties for a 1.2. So as a righty hitter, he has been better. 955 OPS versus righties.
Jeez, I mean, what an absolute stud. The fly ball percentage also up, Jake, 41.6%, which is the highest in his career, up from 36.7 last year. So I got to see Cal a couple different times in person calling his games, and I think that's what's impressed me the most with him is the fact that he, like an Aaron Judge, who else gets Acuna? These guys are just getting blasted up and in. And you really you can't be scared up there, because when you get scared, that's when you start to fly open a little bit and you have to wait for mistakes. And he's doing that. I think, and we talked about this a little bit before the show, I think we are going to see Cal and Judge kind of have that home run off. Does it get to 60? We'll see, because, that's still a huge number. On pace is different than actually getting there. And as a catcher I think he's still catching 75% of games. I'm assuming Dan Wilson, his manager, a former catcher, might understand, what that does to the body, and maybe he starts to have him DH more. But they're still trying to win games, and it's better for their team if he's behind the plate. So they're going to have to juggle all these different things. But I do believe we're going to at least have some countdown there. I believe Cal easily gets into the 50s, and once you're into the 50s, 60s is next. You know what I mean? Like, he's almost there. He's got 36 jacks already.
Yeah.
We're a little bit past the halfway point. We played about 92 games so far. So we got 70 games left. He's got to keep going at this pace. So I want to say yes, it's going to happen, Jake.
Some of the numbers are such sicko mode. Shout out my guy Travis Scott. First pitch this year, Cal Raleigh, 490 batting average, a 1.7 OPS. So that's insane. And so now the pitchers have that in the scouting report. So what are they saying? Don't throw him a first pitch strike. Well, if you get behind this guy, the numbers stay there. You're right. And I think the interesting to track, Randy Rosarena just went on one of his homer barrages, that they're going to need that. They're going to need that support. Our guy Julio has been in some people's crosshairs because he made the All-Star game and his OPS when it was announced did start with a 6. That, like, he needs the guys in front of him to go. He needs the guys behind him to go. And either way, and no, this kind of sounds like loser stuff. I'm not going to do this. Because, Trev, you mentioned on it, the fact he's doing this as a catcher is nuts. Big Salvi with 48 has the record. The catcher record at the All-Star break was at 30, I think, by Johnny Bench. So, like, what this guy is doing, and I think we are appreciating him this year, and this year has been different than his past couples. But, the 30-plus homers from a catcher, I hope he keeps going. And that sounds dumb. Like, I think, besides the salty Mariner fan, but your guy Judge, like, I'm for baseball. And, dude, if we could get a West Coast, East Coast, like, watch the 7 p.m. game to see what Judge does. Watch the 10 p.m. game to see what Big Dumper does. The switch-hitting catcher versus the 6'7", like, WWE figure. Like, yes. Like, baseball's on a heater, bro.
I just looked up. Cal Raleigh is listed 6'2". Feel like he's bigger than that.
Interesting.
And I'm the height guy on this show.
I know you're a height guy. Yes Network just put all their pride to the side last night and just zoomed in on his butt. I'm glad Rob had that ready to go. I mean, this is the broadcast. We're just
he doesn't have that big of a butt, if we're being honest. Like, I think it's proportional to his body.
I mean, from that angle, it's tough. I mean, you're just getting straight backside. I do think he turns here at the end that you get. I mean, is that Eric Young? Who's?
Yeah.
I mean, he's got a bigger butt than him. Like, he's a big boy. The guys did get measured before the season, right? So
I'm curious what he was listed last year. We should look that up. I will say this, and this is off script, but we do that. We yuck ball here, and part of yucking ball is talking about the zeitgeist of baseball. And I'll say this: I know from hearing from multiple ladies, that baseball uniform is the hottest uniform.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think that's pretty. Yeah.
And they always mention butts when they talk about it.
The baseball butts, obviously, with the tight pants. Football pants fit really weird. You rarely see the football butt, but a lot of these guys have, obviously, they squat, like the butt's there, but the football pants do nothing for them.
I've lost mine, Jake. It's tough.
Trev, you were plus like 30 pounds when you played.
Yeah, I know. I don't squat 405 on the reg anymore, dude.
Yeah. The leg workouts are good. I've started mixing them in a little more. I do like it. Yeah, you're releasing more.
Also, every time I start lifting heavy with my legs, I go play tennis and pull a hammy.
Yeah, that's just the old thing.
In 2023, he was listed as 6'3", 235, wears a 37 waist, 45 hip.
Oh. How do you know that?
Is that just your notes app? What is that? Where'd that come from?
The Athletic.
Is that okay? The Athletic, and we're just measuring butts. Look at that. Welcome to baseball. Cal Raleigh home run derby. That's and Trev, that's going to be a bad baseball storyline coming out of that. Did the derby affect his swing? We deal with that every year. Oh, I do have it's something you mentioned. Do you think being a switch hitter has more of a benefit, never having to worry about the platoon side, or do you think there's a little bit more of a worry because what if you lose your swing from one side?
Well, wasn't a switch hitter, so I don't really have a ton of great insight. I've talked to a lot of guys about it, and all they ever mention is it's just more work.
Right.
And, add on to the fact that he is a catcher having to deal with the pitching staff. So it maybe becomes burdensome on him throughout, the rest of the year. But I also think that he's understands what he needs to do to keep his body fresh. That'd be the only thing I would say is maybe he'd get tired from the overwork of having to do both sides. But I think having a former catcher as your manager, I think we're going to see more DH days out of him. I do. And if you want to do a little fan fiction. We're talking about Seattle, and their offense has been pretty good, mostly in part because of Cal Raleigh. But imagine a home run race, which is going to electrify that city already, which, if you go see a game and Cal Raleigh's up, the place is buzzing. But also in a playoff race like that, those two things together, we could see some really, really fun games out there in Seattle, like, during September. I'm going to see who they play at the end of the year, because that's what I'm going to look up right now.
Well, Trev, the other kind of exciting note here, and if this, if he breaks 60, if he breaks the record and this becomes a Jolly Olive video in like 3 years, Mitch Garver, the backup catcher, the guy they brought in a couple years ago to be their DH/catcher, he's going to, like, if he plays well, that's going to make it so much easier for Dan Wilson to be like, hey, Cal, you're DHing us. We need to save those legs. That it's going to be interesting to watch how he does the rest of the way. Mitch Garver, nice little career. 10-4.
Great guy, too. End of the season for Seattle, they have 6 games at home. They get Colorado for 3.
Okay.
Homers. They end with the Dodgers, which by that point have already locked up whatever they need to lock up, unless we're talking like 1 seed and a bye. So that could be interesting. I would love that. That's primetime game right there. Dodgers, Seattle, Cal going for the home run record, Seattle trying to get into the playoffs, Dodgers maybe jockeying for position. That's baseball, baby. Wow. Schedule watch early for Seattle. They're going to be one of the teams to watch the rest of the way because of Big Cal and where they are in the American League standings. Let's jump over to a little National League talk. And a little National League talk is brought to you by Corona. Because my goodness, it's going to be a Corona all-star break for us, Coach Trev. Because it always is. Because it pairs perfectly with baseball, whether it's opening day, whether it's the All-Star game, whether it's the World Series, whether it's just a dog day. Oh, my God. Dog day of August, grab a Corona. For us baseball guys, nothing quite like watching the game, relaxing, turning off for a little bit, maybe turning up with a Corona. So whether you're in the cheap seats and you turn them into your own private island, grab some ice-cold Coronas, the official cerveza of Major League Baseball. Go get the lime. I have an update on that in a second. Go get the lime, America's favorite pastime with Mexico's favorite present time. Get yours. Order Corona.com, 21 plus. Enjoy responsibly. Corona Extra Beer, imported by Crown Import, Chicago, Illinois. Trev, it's players only today. You were players only in the booth last night. The vibes were immaculate. I was just going to say, be an adult. Get a lime, put that in your Corona, go the next step. I did one of the most basic adult moves the other day, and I am on cloud 9. Bought new socks. Dude.
Oh, my God.
New socks is the game changer.
Trev, the youngins don't know. Half of our office has no idea. Hole in the sock crew in half of our office has no idea.
I don't stand for that.
I know you don't, but you're a man. If you're one of our youngins listening right now, go get yourself a pair of socks. My day started off better than it has in a couple months.
They slide onto your feet so easily. The elasticity is perfect.
It's perfect. Maybe we got to start making some John Boy Media socks. Trev, let's jump over to the NL Central, and it's a developing storyline. One of our favorite storylines is mixed in, along with a phenom. It's listed as Brewers to win the NL Central, which right now at DraftKings is plus 350 because of how good those Cubbies still are. But the storylines we just need to talk about are the Central as a whole. The Brewers are 26-12 in their last 38. And okay, they added Brandon Woodruff, who has been one of the best pitchers of the 2020s and showed that in his debut. Jacob Mizorowski is now becoming one of the gossipy, if he's pitching, you need to talk about him. Kershaw's talking about him before and after his start with some good old man Kershaw stuff in here. Before the start, he's like, yeah, I don't know. I haven't seen too much. He throws hard. That's what I've heard. But everyone throws hard except me. Nice, Clayton. Nice. Right at the end there. And then after the game, he was like, how does anyone hit this guy? That the Brew Crew, who were a Malays and Pat Murphy was yelling at the kids, he still is, and it's now working. Yes. That the Brewers have become a storyline.
Going back to Pat Murphy real quick,
Sure.
I think he knew exactly what he needed to do with that team. Guys, we're like, this is our team identity. You got to run, and we got to play hard. And I think he set the tone early. I think it's good. I think we were a little bit against it at the time.
We were nervous. It can go one of two ways.
Yeah, but they responded.
Yeah.
He knows his clubhouse. What's the question?
I guess how likely maybe is the Central a 2-team race? Like, do the Cubs have that much of a leg up on the Brewers? Because as we stand here today, I know people always come here for the standings. The Cubs are 2.5 games up.
Cardinals reeling a little bit, 16 and 18 since the beginning of June. Still, they're not in a wild card spot right now. Never mind. That's going to be very interesting to see the direction they go. You can't trade pieces when you're one game out of the wild card, especially because a bunch of your guys that maybe you want to trade have no trade clauses. So that's interesting for them. Cardinals, I think, are still going to be in the race. I can't shut them out of it completely, but it does look like there's two teams that are separating themselves a little bit. I've watched both of these teams play between Milwaukee, and then I got the Cubs last night. First thing, we've talked about this quite a bit, but when you walk into that dang clubhouse of the Cubs, it's a big league clubhouse. Yeah. It's a show clubhouse, dude. I mean, Justin Turner's off in the corner doing his thing. He hit his 200th homer last night. It was awesome.
Did you see the big fella that caught it?
Boom, right there.
So they said something. They were like, I forget what the tweet. It was another Justin caught it. Another redhead caught it. And then it was like another Cubs fan, which was like, okay, I don't know if Justin Turner's a Cubs fan. And then, you know what I didn't like? And I'll let my Napoleon show a little bit. The guy was like, well, yeah, I'm 6'5" and I'm in the second row. That's why I caught it. I was like, all right, big guy. All right, big guy. We get it. We get it.
Tall guys always like to talk about how tall they are. They really do.
No comment.
It's like, we get it, bro. Hey, guess what? You're going to die sooner than everybody.
Oh,
heart can't pump that much blood.
Bing bong.
Boom. How about that?
How's your flight? Leg stiff? Glad we dunked on them.
You can't buy pants from anywhere. Anyways, the Brewers.
Yes.
Plus 350 to win the division. If I'm talking Cubs, Brewers, I think I don't see a lot separating them as far as talent on the field. I think more brand names on the Cubs. We're talking King Tuck. We're talking PCA, who's exploded onto the scene. We're talking our guy Ian Happ, which
the happening.
The social team's working on some stuff right now.
Okay.
The bottles are with Ian Happ. I finally brought him. I got him 2 bottles. That's what I did.
Proud of you.
I signed one of them for him. That wants my signature. He didn't. I just did it before.
That's awesome.
But 2021, a great year.
That's awesome, Trev. Well done.
I got him a couple 2021 Poyaks because that's the kind of wine that he likes, a big Bordeaux out of France. And being a Frenchman, I wanted to do that. So, yeah, we had a nice little chat there, and I was talking to him about the clubhouse. I mean, look, I'm not going to sit here and say the Brewers are going to win the division or the Brewers are a better team than the Cubs because the Cubs are a juggernaut. They really are, man. They have a lot going for them. I think they're going to make moves at the deadline. I think they might add some pitching at the deadline. And then when you watch them play, you understand kind of why they are where they're at. They can play defense. They have guys that can mash the ball, all that. I think that I think that the Brewers, though, you can say they have a chance to win the NL Central because they're that good as well. Then you add, like you talked about, Mizorowski and what he's been able to do. And I want to, keep letting people know this. From the freaking get-go, I think I saw his second career start. I said we should be talking about Mizorowski in the same vein that we talk about Paul Skeens. And I think I'm right. Like, I think I keep getting proven right. The knock on him has been his location, and he's been able to do that really well at the big league level. And we're talking about a guy who is stuff-wise, is there anybody better than him in the big leagues? Like, true, pure stuff? Doesn't Eno Saris have a stat called Stuff Plus? Like, is he number one?
I DM'd Eno last night. I forgot about that. I haven't talked to the big guy in a while.
But then you add Woodruff back to the situation. The back end of their bullpen can be absolutely electric. We saw it last night against the Dodgers, and I believe the average fastball was 99 plus. That's 4 different pitchers.
Yeah,
averaging 99 miles an hour, which is just insane.
Silly.
So the Brewers can 100% win the NL Central. I'm not going to sit here and say that they're better than the Cubs, that it's going to happen for sure. But those two teams are going to be fighting, all season long. And I believe there's still 8 games left between them. So if you wanted to sprinkle a little bit on the Brewers, no problem. You shouldn't feel weird about that because they are a very, very talented team. I think we talk about them as like a run prevention team, a team that can pitch, team that can run the bases and play defense, but they have some bangers on that team too. So they can score runs in a hurry as well.
Yeah, I think the generic baseball fan, what you should get excited about are the managers here, which is crazy because that's not how we talk. But Craig Counsell, left for more money. The Cubs thought that was a chess, not checkers move, and we've had commentary on it. And then, Trev, what I'm excited to see, man, I think this is going to turn into hitting versus pitching a little bit. Like the Brewers, that's been their identity, and their back of their bullpen is getting it done. And now with Mizorowski and Woodruff and Peralta and Quintana, like this Brewers team, they're also 8th in runs scored. It's very Brewersy, 3rd in steals. The other offensive stats aren't as impressive. The Cubbies are top 5 in everything. Batting average, OPS, runs, homers, stolen bases. This Cubs offense is electric, and there's been so many times we open up the box score, and it's like, well, Cubs took 2 out of 3 when they scored, 25 runs over the weekend, that it's going to be a true, Milwaukee, Chicago, pitching, hitting, Murphy versus Counsell. Those games should be hot. That I'm excited for it. And I think if someone tells you they know, you don't. I will be interested to see the other side of this is the deadline. Like we often tell the Brewers put the chips in a little more. This team has an argument for they don't have to put a lot more chips in. The Cubbies, they kind of have it's high-end pitching or third base, but otherwise they could use some more pitching. IMO. I know their pitching gets results, but the names can make you a little nervous. That I wonder, can the Cubs flex another big deadline move on them to be like, hey, we're Chicago, we're not Milwaukee. Does that just piss Milwaukee off more? If they went out and they traded for Eugenio Suarez, Milwaukee says, we don't care. Here's Caleb Durbin.
Yeah, they might trade Jose Quintana anyway.
Just to do it.
Look, Chicago's great. They do have such an explosive offense. Michael Busch, I don't think people are talking about him enough and the kind of season he's having.
No.
We had Pablo in the booth with us, and he said this is their best hitter right now. And that's including a lineup that has Kyle Tucker, PCA, guys like Ian Happ. We know who can bang there, but Michael Busch right now is kind of Suzuki is kind of setting himself apart. So they can do it up and down the lineup. Pitching is the only place they would need to add. Matt Shaw at third base, obviously, maybe you get a little upgrade there, but I think it's a stopgap upgrade like a Eugenio Suarez, not somebody you're bringing in for years.
And no mention of the Cincinnati Reds, the number one family feud answer for dark horse to make the playoffs, who have lost 4 in a row and are now at 500. So I'm not still mad about Family Feud. I'm not. Anything else in the Central we need to mention? I don't think so. I guess we can pivot off of Rob in our Talking Baseball chat last night was trying to get the Mizorowski NL Rookie of the Year hype going. Let me see if I can get those odds real quick.
Who is the NL Rookie of the Year #1 right now?
Jacob Mizorowski is the new favorite.
Who's behind him?
In Vegas? It's Drake Baldwin,
Okay.
who's been getting it done for the Braves throughout this year. And then it's Augustine Ramirez. And then this is just nasty work. Chad Patrick listed, who got sent down for Brandon Woodruff. Okay, so Rob, that's not even...
What's the number on Mizorowski? Because hammer that right now.
I'm seeing a plus 150.
I mean, guys, that's barring an injury. I think that's like free money, not gambling advice. Don't do it from my mouth. Do it on your own accord. But that seems like a pretty good bet.
Ladies and gentlemen, don't do it from his mouth.
Don't do it from my mouth.
I guess quickly while we're here, this was another thing on our sheet. Rookie of the Year is an interesting one because it's cool. End of the day, you still got to put in, a good decade's worth of baseball work to really become like a dude's dude. I think it's just of note, and maybe there's a little Astros talk here. Trev, Cam Smith, who was a part of that Kyle Tucker trade, he has now the second best AL Rookie of the Year odds to Jacob Wilson, the starting shortstop, in the All-Star game. But Cam Smith has been balling out. 340, 381, a 528 over his last 28 days. Similar WAR to Jacob Wilson, which that's been a hot in the street conversation online, mostly with Joe's McFly recently. But again, it's just another thing to put in the bucket right now as we go into the second half of the baseball season where we don't know what's going to happen. But one of the storylines every year is who are these young guys come the postseason because they become different baseball players. I mean, going back to Evan Carter, remember that for Texas a couple years ago? That Cam Smith is currently happening before our eyes and looking... I mean, I don't want to say trading Kyle Tucker is an Astros masterclass, but if Cam Smith is this guy, it is.
I'm looking at both him and Jacob Wilson's savant right now. I mean, Cam Smith is playing, according to the metrics, really good defense. The range is in the 90th percentile. Arm strength is up there. Arm value is down. So a little errant with the throws. He can run. I don't mind that bet. Jacob Wilson has come down to earth a little bit. He's after, flirting with 400 or 360. He's hitting 335. I'm like acting like that's bad. That's crazy. Right. I have a 240 career hitter. Shut
the fuck up. Yeah. Thank you.
Who else is listed for the AL?
Right.
There's Jacob Wilson. And there's Cam Smith. I'm trying to think who else was a rookie in the AL right now.
It's Kurtz, Nick for the Athletics.
Yeah, he's having a nice little run here.
And then it's the recent guy. It's Roman Anthony, Caglione, Jason Dominguez listed.
How is he still a rookie?
He's still a rookie, dog. He homered off Verlander, and then he got hurt. I don't know how it works. Yeah, I don't know. I think more so of note when you start talking about the Astros lineup that hasn't been their strength this year, which is crazy because Altuve's had a couple big ones lately. Paredes. God, Altuve's going nuts. Jesus, people. Houston. I said they're up number 1 in batting average, 8th in OPS on the season now. And for a while, they weren't there. And Houston is now there, along with arguably some of the best bullpen numbers, 1st in WHIP, 1st in Ks per 9, and the starting pitching numbers are good too. Like the snake in the grass Astros a little bit.
I mean, they've had a lot of things working for them. The pitching staff is going to be there. Back in the bullpen being perfect. I don't think Hader's blown a save yet. That always helps. So a lot of things have gone their way. I guess you expect teams to face adversity throughout a season. It's not all going to be, roses. And they kind of did that at the beginning of the season, dealing with, oh my gosh, Jose's out there in left field. And what does that mean? And then Jordan going down. And so maybe they've already dealt with it. Is that and they're just going to smooth sail all the way to the play? I don't know, man.
I don't know.
Jeremy Pena looks. You talked about guys, coming up and making a name for themselves in the playoffs. And that's what Jeremy Pena did. World Series MVP in the bag.
Yeah. And yeah, congrats to our guy Christian Walker, paternity list IL. We love IL. But Victor Caratini steps in and has a couple great games for them. And that's
Jake Myers is having a great year.
Our guy Jake Myers. Yeah, I had him as the all underrated team first half. You haven't talked a lot of Jake Myers, but it's hitting 300, tracking down balls in center. And yeah, Trev, when we take over a front office, whether it's Arizona or Colorado or whatever, I think having reliable bench pieces matter. Like Houston, Victor Caratini and Mauricio Dubon at different times are essentially starters for them that contribute, and you know what you're going to get. And I just think that matters, and I think a lot of teams have ignored that. And it's like, oh, they get paid real salaries, like $6 million for Caratini. It's worth it. The guy plays half the season, and he plays well. Like, instead of just calling up another minor leaguer and praying, I don't know.
Well, people got really mad when I said that used to be called depth.
Right.
Like when the log jam, they used to just be called depth. People were really, really mad at me. But that's people trying to say, hey, if we platoon these two rookies and they're making league minimum and they're, we can get close to the same amount of WAR for this guy. On paper, it sounds good, but during a season, yeah, I would much rather have an experienced bench piece. They're ready to go to take big at bats to fill in if somebody gets hurt. I think that's kind of what you're referencing here is guys that have done it. Because if you do have, in a perfect world, you have two young guys and you're platooning right-left matchups for them. Great, that works if they're not playing that often, and you have your starters healthy. If your starters get hurt, and now you're thrusting these guys into an actual, starting role, and now you're the one guy who's, was pinch hitting against left-handers is now, having to play a prominent role in the lineup. That's when you see that lack of depth kind of get exposed. And yeah, I mean, when you have a guy like Mauricio Dubon who can, give you above average play when he has to start, that's kind of what you're looking for. And yeah, I don't know if teams are really overlooking that or if it's harder to find those guys. I think there's a little bit of that too.
It's true. I mean, like Dubon doesn't grow on trees. Like that's very true, but it's also, two guys that have been in Houston for a little bit now and they contribute when they're called upon. That, yeah, is that them? Is that Houston? I don't know. How many guys, I think they each make over $5 million. That there's a lot of time. There's so many teams who look at the bench and are like, I'm not pay that for a guy that might not start. Little bit of a wormhole.
Stephen Okert having the year he's having there. I saw him last year with the Twins and he just got absolutely shelled. Happy for him.
It's weird being
their bullpen's legit.
Their whole team is legit, and that's sans Yordan Alvarez, arguably.
Do they have the best bullpen in baseball? I think they do.
Not by ERA, but by WHIP, by K percentage, by a lot of other metrics. Like Josh Hader is still the bad man. I know sometimes people, I don't know, the whole San Diego thing got weird a little bit because he wanted the contract and he wasn't going to pitch 1.1 till he got it.
If you look back at that situation, you're like, I get it. Impending free agent, not wanting to be used more unless he gets secured financially. I mean, you work your entire life to be right there.
Yeah.
And taking care of yourself, I don't think is a bad thing.
Some MFer named Colton Gordon throwing from the side, just getting people out.
He's the new lefty there.
He's the new lefty. He'll be
the filthy lefty.
He'll be Framber in 5 years. Trev, let's jump over. We still got a couple juicy ones. Maybe we'll start chewing through them a little higher and tighter, but it's all brought to you by T-Mobile. Speaking of All-Star Weekend, let's go. T-Mobile, the Derby, the All-Star Game. They're all about it, and we're all about it with our friends at T-Mobile. When Coach Trev is helping the Little Leaguers become men, he can still tune in to see Zach Wheeler's one-hitter while about to send his team to Williamsport. Sometimes I go to Central Park, just walk around, think about it. I can still bring up the game, and then I'm like, I don't know, should I just be back on my couch watching it? But T-Mobile, they have America's largest 5G network and a ton of perks with Magenta status. Whether it's discounted tickets, hotel deals, free in-fly Wi-Fi, you got it. If you're not already with T-Mobile, now is the time. Learn more at T-Mobile.com/MLB. Thank you to our partners at T-Mobile. A huge part of the baseball season. Trevor, let's see. Devers and the Giants. I guess, it hit a weird area for a little bit where it's like, okay, Devers isn't hitting. The Giants have hit a rough patch. He started to pick it up, and I think they're 6-2 in their last 8. So how the turntables a little bit, 4 in a row for the Giants. They listed it on our sheet, and this was intern Sam trying to earn his chops with Dalt, which it's like, okay, Dalt, so what are you? You're just playing softball and singing karaoke and getting drunk at night, Dalt? Like, what's going on there? Just
eating Eggo waffles with chicken nuggets.
I get scared to send you some of his food pics because I just know how much it actually hurts your soul.
I can't.
I know. I guess where are you at with the Giants, and where do you think Devers needs to be for them?
There's been a lot of talk about Devers recently.
Right. Will Clark.
Will Clark came out and had a story about how he kind of big leagued him and didn't come out to learn first base with him. And then he kind of took it back. He's like, I understand why he didn't do it, because it was the Red Sox and he didn't want to just be right in front of their dugout doing that and have to deal with the media. And then Will Clark also went on to say, next time I'm in town, you're definitely coming out. He goes, I don't care if I have to go grab you by the back of the neck.
You by the back of your neck is some dealing with a bad puppy dog stuff.
$300 million grown man.
Yeah, I don't
know.
I know Will. Every time one of the old heads talk about Will Clark, they're like, you don't understand how good that dude was. But I don't think it was grab Devers by the neck good.
I don't think he just needs to relax a little bit there. I forgot. Oh my God. I mean,
just the Giants, Devers.
Train of thought there. Talking Devers with the Giants. It's interesting because we were looking at some of the rate stats with him, because we're like, okay, is it just all going to come together and all of a sudden we're going to be looking at Devers carrying this team into the playoffs? That's kind of like what the question was for us. Everything is down.
Yeah.
All the rate stats are down in San Francisco, except the batting average, balls in play. The BABIP is up from 322 in Boston to 348 here. So that's a little alarming because everything else is down. Homer percentage is down. Strikeout percentage is up. Walk percentage is down. Exit velo down. Hard hit percentage up. So there's something you can hold your hat on right there. But it's been a struggle for him to get really going, and he hasn't been the guy the Giants have, thought he is going to be for them. And I don't think this is something that's going to last. It's when you have to move from, a place that you've played your entire career into a place like San Francisco, there's going to be a little bit of growing pains. It's a completely different division. You're facing new pitchers. You're getting acclimated to the weather there, which, I think people talk about it, but it's a real thing. And it's not an easy place to hit. So there's going to be some growing pains. So I'm not going to say 100%. I firmly believe, though, that we will see Rafael Devers carrying this team at some point. Does that mean they're going to, run and get into the playoffs and be this big bad machine? I don't know. We talk about how good the NL is and where they're at. They are in the wild card right now. They're 51-42. They're a game up on San Diego, a game and a half up on St. Louis. And so I guess maybe the question is, are the Giants a better team than both the Padres and the Cardinals? And I think the answer is yes to the Cardinals, and I'm not so sure about the Padres.
Right. The Giants-Padres situation that's going to sort out the rest of this year, and hey, okay, maybe they reel in the Dodgers. I'm not going to bet on it, but another topic listed on our sheet here is there going to be 2 teams from every division? Because if we're talking about the Brewers, who they've got some juice, it feels like Phillies and Mets are going to go to the wire. It feels like the Dodgers are going to be there. That right now it does feel like the National League is going to come down to 3 teams for 2 spots, which for this exercise would be the Brewers, the Giants, and the Padres. That's if the Cardinals went back to their expectations, and maybe they don't. And I don't want to thrust that upon them, but I mean, Giants, Padres, like that's the NL.
6 games left between those 2 teams. The last game being August 21st. There's a 4-game set at San Diego that is going to have huge implications.
I mean,
we'll probably split it.
Is this National League season like a dream example for the new wild card format? Like 2 teams in each division got a chance for it. Like 1 team's going to get left out. You could win the division, you could make the wild card, you could be out of the playoffs. Like, is this the dream?
It might be. And all the extra playoff team, all they wanted that to have happen was more teams being in the race in August and September, which has happened every single year. So I think it's worked out. You can argue if you like the amount of teams that get into the playoffs, but it's served its purpose of keeping more teams in the race. It's also made teams less apt to trade at the deadline because the 88 wins will, 86 to 88 wins will get you into the playoffs. A lot of teams believe they already have that. So I think there's been good things that have happened and bad things that have happened with that.
Do you want to let out any Rockies thoughts right now?
I don't.
Only because
zero thoughts on the
only
Rockies.
because they're on pace for 37 wins.
Zero thoughts on the Rockies. What's up, Mickey Moniak? What's up, Kyle Farmer? That's
Hunter Goodman.
Shout out.
All-star. And if people remember, Jimmy Herget, the glitch, DM'd me on Instagram and said, please make Hunter Goodman an all-star. I mean, I only did so much, but I did. So then I DM'd Jimmy Herget and I said, hey, we did it. And then he goes, hey, how about Hunter Goodman for the home run derby? And I told him greed is a sin. So let's see how it sorts out. I know Ronnie's back the other day, but it's Atlanta. He's not missing that thing. Trev, I guess the last one on here that I think you were interested in was last year there was 3 players that reached 50 stolen bases. Right now, Caballero is the leader in the clubhouse with 31. What do you think? I guess I just want your round thoughts on that. Do you?
Well, I need to see who else is on that list. I'm going to pull it up right now.
Sure.
I do think a guy will get to 50 stolen bases. I think Caballero is going to get there. Who else is there?
So O'Neal Cruz.
Behind him is O'Neal Cruz, Pete Crows at 27, Jose Ramirez, my God, at 24, Bobby Witt at 24, Chandler Simpson also at 24.
Chandler Simpson 24 in 49 games, so he should be in the mix a little more.
Yeah, so are there going to be 3 guys to do it? I don't know. I think somebody does get to it. And I think it's been interesting because I've been talking about it on the broadcast. Like, how do you combat stolen bases? A lot of pitchers these days are, whether they're taught or they just think this way, like they don't care. Like, I want to get my best pitch off. I want to strike the guy out. And all the rules are so against them for holding runners that they've almost just given up. Like, slide steps are kind of a thing of the past. At least on the Twins they are. I wish they weren't. You can only pick off twice, essentially, with the third time being a balk if you don't get the guy out. Pitch outs are gone. So like there's just the pitch clock is there, so you can't really hold. Like there's all these things working against. So I'm assuming that we're going to see like an influx of stolen bases. And I was talking a little bit to Pablo off air last night about just like how do you hold runners on and what do you do? Because I mentioned that there's been a couple times where you'll see guys like get back, like Duran was doing this, get back on the mound right away, so you actually do have time to hold.
Right.
To get set, get set at 8 seconds and then hold until 2, so you really kind of put that runner, and he's got his legs a little heavy under him and all that thing. That's what it's supposed to do. But that's really the only way you can combat it. But I'd like to see more pitchers pick off the third time.
Right.
Because if teams know this guy has never attempted a third pickoff, the leads that you can get are outrageous. It's almost like a free stolen base. So might as well try to pick off over there every once in a while. If you don't get him, okay, he's at second base. He was probably going to get there anyway. So I think teams should be trying it more often. If you're like conceding the stolen base, which a lot of pitchers, whether you want to believe that or not, they're just saying you're going to steal second base. It's fine. Why not try to pick them off? Like, why not try to do that? And why not pitch out on that third? Instead of picking off, the guy's going to go. Why not pitch out? I don't. Rocco Baldelli told me that that's the thing of the past. Like, the pitch outs are not going to happen anymore necessarily. Then I got a few. We talked about this. I got a few tweets from people saying, "Hey, I saw a pitch out." Are they pitch outs though, or just high fastballs?
Kind of meta. Trev, I'm calling it now. I think there's going to be a third throw over in the postseason. I think there's a smart team that's pocketing that.
You're welcome, smart team.
Right, you're welcome. We've got you. I think they're going to be. That'll be in the scouting report. They've never thrown over a third time during the regular season, and they're going to pocket that for the right moment. Because I think you're just going to have a base runner frozen. Because, dude, some of the leads they get when there's the 2 throw-overs are nuts.
Mark it down here.
I think
we know ball. Like, it's going to happen. It should happen more.
I think we're going to get at least 2 guys that get 50 steals. Because the other thing that's in my head, and I would have to check the actual analytics on it, is, when the season starts getting late, some guys are just going to be padding stats. Like, if you're O'Neal Cruz and he's got a chance to go 30-50, 25-50, when he gets on first.
How many he got right now? 16? Okay.
When I think he's on first, I think he's going.
It does happen like that at the end of the year.
I guess the other thing that I'd want to plant a seed in Jimmy's brain is like halfway through the season, the scouting report changes that like this pitcher can't hold guys at all. This catcher hasn't thrown anyone out. That might have changed from the previous year. That you've also got more info and more data that guys are, if you're a base stealer and they're 1 for 30, I'm gone. Yeah. Okay. Trev, I think, unless you got anything else there, I think that's what we've got for this second half, brought to you by Best Western. Our friends over at Best Western. Life's a trip, so why not make the most of it? Over 4,000 hotels worldwide. They've been a massive part of our 2025 season. I think Jolly's going to Savannah. Not sure what that's about. But tune in. If you haven't seen the Jack Doyle We Got Ice First Pitch Chronicles, just absolutely amazing content. And so much of it, pretty much all of it, is because of Best Western. Our Cubs trip at the beginning of the year, that Best Western outside of Wrigley, chef's kiss. Summer's here, book a trip, book with Best Western, or just like hit the road and then find one of the 4,000 Best Westerns along the way. Life's a trip. Make the most of it at bestwestern.com. How you feeling, Coach?
I'm doing great. I think I'm ready to bet the cycle.
Ho! You think so, huh? Yeah, I guess we weren't sure how today's ep was going. We'll peel back the curtain from the people. And I'd like to give another shout-out to the people. Oh, this was on Wake and Jake. I just blanked on a word. I was looking for the word embody because I was trying to say that Zach McKinstry embodies the Tigers. Did you see his throw last night?
I did not.
Oh, my God. Bob, hunt this one down. I'm actually going to trash talk our social team a little bit because they didn't post this. Zach McKinstry pulls a whirly bird and makes a throw from right field to third base.
Ooh, I want to see.
That I haven't seen a lot on the baseball field. Anyways, it was during an episode of Wake and Jake, and I just couldn't find it. I was like, Beebs, what word am I looking for? I knew it was an E word, so we just started putting a bunch of E words out there. About a minute 15 of me choking on my words, and I was like, I'm going to leave this in. I want the people to know if they liked it. They ended up liking it. Because people like the peeling back the curtain. So here's the play. Right field.
Oh, yeah.
No thought.
Yeah, use the body right there.
Danny Jansen. Javi Baez with the tag. A little apology after, which we like. Zach McKinstry is just having a blessed season this year.
I was just going to say something. I need to look it up.
Okay. Interested? What could you possibly be looking up?
Yeah. Boom. I was going to say centrifugal force. And it's right. The apparent outward force experienced by an object moving in a circular path when viewed from the rotating frame of reference. I think I got it right.
I think you nailed it. I know it mostly from the movie.
Not how I would have spelled it, but
on the movie Armageddon, the slingshot they do around the asteroid to gain momentum on it. Great movie. If the kids
spell centrifugal force.
No, dude. CENTRIVI.
No.
And for that reason, I'm out. Spell centrifugal force in the comments today. Trev, pulling back the curtain, which was this whole speech. We had some updates from our preseason prediction list. I don't think we have to chew through the whole thing right now, just because we had kind of a full episode. How about this? I'll just give you some flowers. The Pete Alonso over for RBI, which was your over this year, is looking pretty juicy. Me going over on Bregman and Cody Bellinger's batting average is in line. I mean, that's just whatever it is. So don't worry about that. But we can, as we get closer to the end of the season, we can circle back on some of these. You betting against Brett Rooker's batting average was still nasty work.
I had to have an under somewhere, and that was what I looked at. I don't know. He's playing at that park. He's doing really well. He's an all-star. I'll apologize to him in Atlanta.
That would be really nice. On the red carpet, you and Chris Rose, the dream team.
Still don't know how that's going to go. Natty Mast texted us some like a leather bomber jacket he wanted us to wear, and me and Rose immediately were like, what? No.
It's Atlanta. I couldn't believe that.
I was like, what?
I thought that was Chris Rose's work.
No.
That was shocking to me.
Out.
But what we're not out on is DraftKings betting the cycle. Let's send you people into the rest of the week with a little juice. We did great last week, Trev. We got our single and our double. Our guy Framber and the Astros, and then Charlie Morton getting the dub against his former team. We're going into Bet the Cycle, brought to you by DraftKings. Use code JAMBaseball when you sign up at the DraftKings Sportsbook. I'll bat lead off today, big guy, because I need your thump. In our single today, Pirates and Royals, we're going for the under on Wednesday night, which shouldn't shock you. The 29th and 30th team in runs per game. Kansas City, what is you doing, baby? Bailey Falter versus Chris Bubich, who has been one of the breakout stars of this season. Bailey Falter with the 3.69, the 3.6 Mafia ERA this year, that we're going under on 8.5 runs.
I like that. I'm a doubles champ. Not a champ. I think I got third place one time in the big leagues. No big deal. Have you seen what Roman Anthony has been doing.
Roman knows.
Last 12 games, 383, 995 OPS. So for our double, we're going Roman Anthony continues that hot stretch. And he accumulates 2+ bases on Thursday in the first game of the series versus the Rays. He was really struggling before those 12 games, a 114 average, 505 OPS in his first 14 career games, but he's found his stride. So I like the 2 extra bases or 2+ bases against the Rays.
Sox 8-2 in their last 10, 5-game win streak, 1 game out of the wild card. Watch out, people. Triple. Okay, see, we start swinging bigger, and this one has me a little nervous, but I see what we're going for here. Chase Burns, the young Cincinnati prodigy, figuring it out in the bigs. 10 strikeout game versus the Rocks this weekend. 3 career starts, 2 of them, one, there was some pitch tipping. We don't think so, but it was bad. 2 of them, he got 7 and 8. The Rockies lineup has the highest K percentage in all of baseball at 26.4%. So the kid with the arm talent, 4th big league start against the worst baseball team we've ever seen. We're going for the triple.
This one is like, if it's a home run, it's...
Oh, my.
Yeah, like a pinch hit, contact-oriented player, and he just runs into one. And you're like, oh, my gosh, that happened.
Rajai Davis.
Oh, he's got pop, though.
He's got pop.
What's up, Rajai Davis? We're calling the rivalry renewed. The Giants sweep the slumping Dodgers in their 3-game set in San Francisco. The Dodgers lost 5 straight. It's their longest losing streak since 2019, Jake. And the Giants, they've won 4 straight games, including a walk-off inside the park homer last night, and 6 of their last 7. So Giants sweeping the Dodgers would cause a lot of headlines. I'll say that right now.
Man, that Giants-Dodgers heading us into the All-Star break. Tune into that, people. Don't be surprised if Devers brings a little more to the table there. He's a guy that not shy from the moment from everything I've seen from him.
What if Devers just goes and takes Will Clark and just pulls him by the neck? Will Clark, big guy, but how old is he now?
Friday's Talkin' Baseball episode is the Devers-Will Clark wrestling match. They take it out to the water.
I think I'm taking Devers in that in like the fight.
Ooh, I mean, age-wise, yeah.
Yeah, age-wise.
Come on. I'd like to think. Will Clark, I said this in a young, slightly backhanded way. Go look at the stats page.
Oh, he's the phenomenal
Will Clark, Will the Thrill for a reason. And Trev, you mentioned it there. So everyone, go to DraftKings, go and bet the cycle. Code JMBaseball when you sign up at the DraftKings Sportsbook. Bobby, I'll put you on the spot one last time. I think we send him out with the Patrick Bailey walk-off last night because that was an electric call, the catcher inside the park walk-off 3-run yacker. You don't see that at the baseball field every day.
It's a high drive. Way out into right field.
What a Karen. They were set up nicely for that, too. Just I love Sosa just chucking that ball.
Bailey's on the move. Bailey's on the move. Sounded like
Will Clark listed 6'2", 190.
I mean, that's...
Rafael Devers, 6'0", 235.
I've got Devers.
I think Will Clark's a little heavier than 190 at this point.
Yeah. How old's Will Clark?
How old is Will Clark? Let's look. Will Clark is 61 years old. That's
close to that age that you might have one more fight in you. You might not. I don't know.
You think you could beat up Will Clark?
No. No. I think Will Clark has one more fight left for me. I don't think Will Clark has one more fight left for Devers. Yeah, me and Will Clark, I'm not saying it would be that hockey golf fight that broke out on the internet the past couple days, but I'd have to really tucker him out, and stamina is not my strength right now either. So, well, speaking of, thank you, everyone, for tuning in to Talkin' Baseball. We will be back Friday before heading into the All-Star break. What? Life happens fast. Life happens slow. I suck.
Jake sucks. I think I got Will Clark.
You go.
Yeah, I mean, like, I'm pretty strong and have more stamina, faster.
I think you got Will Clark.
I think 61. I think I got.
He
I don't
gets-
want to test you, Will. Like, I'm not trying to fight you.
He gets that headlock,
Mucho
though.
respect. Mucho respect.